DC didn't just lose heroes, it lost entire teams. Groups that once carried major storylines, reshaped eras, and challenged the Justice League simply vanished from continuity. Some were gone by reboots, others collapsed after one bad event or editorial shift. These teams weren't weak or unpopular. They were abandoned, forgotten, and left unfinished. And today, most fans don't even realize how important they once were to DC's universe. So which DC teams disappeared and deserve a real comeback? Here are 10 vanished teams DC should bring back. At number 10 is the Justice League Task Force. Justice League Task Force was created in 1993 as a covert offshoot of the Justice League designed for missions the public team could not touch. Operating under United Nations authority, the task force handled Black Ops assignments, espionage, and hostile environment operations that required secrecy over symbolism. The roster rotated constantly, pulling members from Justice League International and Justice League Europe based on mission needs. Martian Manhunter served as the team's central leader, grounding the group in discipline and strategy rather than spectacle. The series ran from 1993 to 1996 and ended without a concluding storyline. After the final issue, the task force was never reactivated, and the team identity disappeared entirely. Members returned to other titles, but the concept itself was abandoned. Editorial focus shifted after Zero Hour, and smaller UN-aligned teams were quietly removed from the line. With its disappearance, DC lost its dedicated stealth operations team. No current Justice League branded group fills that role. Fans enjoyed Justice League Task Force because it felt different, with secret missions, rotating rosters, and a Justice League that did not need an audience. At number 9 is Power Company. The Power Company debuted in 2002 as a superheroes for hire team operating as a professional business rather than a volunteer league. The team was led by Josiah Power, a metahuman lawyer who structured the group like a law firm, placing heroes on paid contracts. Members such as Skyrocket, Bork, Witchfire, and Sapphire took assignments from paying clients instead of responding to public crises. This approach clearly separated the Power Company from the Justice League and the Justice Society. Their stories focused on liability, contracts, public image, and the consequences of treating heroism as paid work. The Power Company series ran for 18 issues from 2002 to 2003. After the final issue, the title was canceled and the team identity disappeared. The group was not relaunched, and no follow-up storyline continued their operations. Later appearances were brief and did not restore the team as an active unit. Readers enjoyed the series because it felt grounded and different, showing superheroes dealing with money, law, and responsibility instead of speeches and symbols. At number 8 is the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks first appeared in 1941 as DC's premier World War II aviator team, originally published by Quality Comics and later absorbed into DC continuity. Led by the mysterious Blackhawk, the team consisted of elite pilots from different nations, operating from a hidden airbase to fight Axis forces across the globe. Their stories focused on aerial combat, military strategy, and wartime missions rather than superpowers, giving them a tone closer to war adventure than traditional superhero fiction. The Blackhawks were a major presence during the Golden and Silver Age, headlining their own title throughout the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s. Multiple revivals followed, but the last sustained series ended in the 1980s. After that point, except a failed 2011 reboot, the team was never relaunched as an ongoing presence in main continuity, and the Blackhawks' identity faded from regular publishing. Readers enjoyed the Blackhawks for their dogfights, global missions, and grounded wartime action, which set them apart from capes, costumes, and superpowers. At number 7 is Global Guardians. The Global Guardians debuted in 1982 as an international superhero team operating under United Nations authority. Created in story by Dr. Mist, the team was formed to represent heroes from across the world rather than focusing on the United States. Members came from Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia, and their missions centered on global threats that cross national borders. This UN mandate clearly separated the Global Guardians from the Justice League and made them DC's primary international defense team. The Global Guardians reached their peak during the late 1980s, receiving an ongoing series and annuals. Their decline began after the rise of Justice League International, which took over the UN-backed role in DC's lineup. Funding within the story was removed, and the team quietly dissolved by the early 1990s. After that point, the Global Guardians identity was retired, with only scattered appearances and no relaunch. Readers enjoyed the team for its international scope, diverse roster, and stories that treated the world as bigger than one country. Coming next, a one-time alliance of DC's greatest Magic users, a street-level supernatural response team, and a short-lived coalition built entirely from characters DC had already forgotten. At number 6 is Sentinels of Magic. The Sentinels of Magic were formed in 1999 during the Day of Judgment event as a temporary alliance of DC's most powerful Magic users. The team was assembled to confront the Spectre, who at the time was bonded to a fallen angel and threatening reality itself. Members included Dr. Fate, Zatanna, Raven, the Phantom Stranger, and Deadman, bringing together characters who rarely operated as a single unit. Their mission centered on reclaiming the Spear of Destiny and stopping a supernatural catastrophe. The Sentinels were never intended to be a permanent team and existed only for this specific crisis. After Day of Judgment ended, the Sentinels of Magic disbanded and were never reformed. The team had no ongoing series, no follow-up storyline, and no later revival under the same name. Individual members returned to separate titles, but the group identity disappeared completely. Readers enjoyed seeing DC's top Magic characters finally united, treating the team as a rare event where the entire mystical side of the universe came together at once. At number 5 is Shadow Pact. Shadow Pact was formed in 2005 during Day of Vengeance as a response team for supernatural disasters threatening reality. The group was made up of street-level Magic users including Blue Devil, Detective Chimp, Enchantress, Nightmaster, Nightshade, and Ragman, with operations centered around the Oblivion Bar. Their purpose was to stop mystical catastrophes caused by the Spectre's actions, placing them directly on the front lines of DC's magical fallout. Unlike larger Magic teams, Shadow Pact focused on fast reactions, limited resources, and characters who were not elite sorcerers. The team received its own ongoing series from 2006 to 2008, running for 25 issues. The series ended without a concluding arc, and the Shadow Pact name was not carried forward into other ongoing titles. Later appearances were brief and did not restore the team as an active unit. Readers connected with Shadow Pact because it felt grounded, chaotic, and personal, showing Magic battles through flawed characters trying to survive impossible situations. While James Gunn's Creature Commandos is filling the monster team role right now, fans still miss the specific Magic user dynamic that Shadow Pact had with characters like Blue Devil and Detective Chimp. At number 4 is the Forgotten Heroes. The Forgotten Heroes debuted in 1983 in Action Comics, as a team built entirely from characters DC had pushed to the sidelines. Immortal Man brought together overlooked veterans such as Animal Man, Cave Carson, Congo Bill, Dolphin, Rick Flag, and Rip Hunter to confront covert global threats that no major team was addressing. Their first mission involved stopping Vandal Savage, immediately establishing the group as a last resort alliance rather than a prestige team. Their presence was brief and concentrated almost entirely in 1984. After a short multi-issue storyline, the team disbanded and never received an ongoing series. Once that story ended, the Forgotten Heroes' identity quietly disappeared, even though individual members continued appearing elsewhere. No later title reassembled the group or continued its mission. Readers enjoyed the Forgotten Heroes because the team focused on characters who rarely got attention, watching unlikely veterans step up together when the spotlight had already moved on. At number 3 is Legion. Legion debuted in 1989 as a cosmic team operating outside Earth-based hero politics. Formed by Vril Dox, the son of Brainiac, the team functioned as a paid interstellar police and intelligence force. Its roster included characters such as Lobo, Captain Comet, Stealth, and Lurl Dox, and its missions focused on maintaining order across unstable alien systems. Unlike the Justice League, Legion was not idealistic or symbolic and operated through contracts, force, and strategy. The series ran through the early 1990s and later evolved into Rebels following continuity changes. As DC's cosmic line contracted, the Legion identity was phased out and the team was never restored as a standing unit. Members continued appearing elsewhere, but the organization itself disappeared. Readers enjoyed Legion for its sharp dialogue, morally gray leadership, and grounded look at how order is enforced in DC's cosmic universe. At number 2 is Infinity Inc. Infinity Inc. debuted in 1984 as a second-generation team made up of the children and successors of Justice Society heroes. Created by Roy Thomas, the series focused on characters such as Jade, Obsidian, Nuklon, and Fury, who were living with the weight of famous legacies rather than starting as unknown heroes. The team's stories centered on inheritance, expectations, and the pressure of carrying established heroic names. This clearly separated Infinity Inc. from other teams of the era. The series ran for 53 issues from 1984 to 1988 and played a visible role during major events like Crisis on Infinite Earths. In 1988, the title ended and the team quietly dissolved. Members moved into other books, but Infinity Inc. was never reassembled or relaunched as a team. Readers connected with Infinity Inc. because it showed legacy heroes struggling to step out of their parents' shadows while trying to earn their own place in DC's history. At number 1 is All-Star Squadron. All-Star Squadron debuted in 1981 as a World War II super team created by Roy Thomas to define DC's wartime hero history. The team united dozens of Golden Age heroes, including the Atom, Flash, and Green Lantern, under direct government authority during the Roosevelt era. Their missions focused on protecting the American home front, stopping Axis sabotage, and coordinating large-scale operations across the country. Unlike the Justice Society, the All-Star Squadron operated as a massive, patriotic wartime force, assembled by presidential order. The series ran from 1981 to 1987 for 67 issues and became a cornerstone of DC's early 80s lineup. After Crisis on Infinite Earths rebooted continuity, the title ended and the team was removed from ongoing canon. All-Star Squadron never returned as a functioning team in post-Crisis continuity. Readers loved the scale of the roster, the shared universe feel, and seeing so many heroes active during World War II, making the team a defining part of DC's Golden Age legacy. These teams vanished, but their potential didn't. Which DC team deserves a comeback? Comment below and subscribe the bell icon for more and regular videos.